Hello everyone, this is Daymare, doing a boxing and a breakdown the demo. This is Daymare 1998 for the PlayStation 4. To jump right into it, this is the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0, and there was a ginormous size update. This update size was 4 gigabytes big, and will take you to version 1.03 since the making of this video. Now this 4 gigabyte update is just consistently nothing but bug fixes. It will not add you any game features or functions or abilities to the game or anything like that. It's just straight up bug fixes. So that's very disappointing to see. Now I can tell you though, I did play this game to the very end on the highest difficulty and did not experience any massive game-breaking bugs. I did experience some oddities, glitches, bumps, and stuttering here and there between the game, just your normal little hiccups and so forth, but nothing that prevented me from progressing or ruined the experience of the game. Now, also, bear in mind that Daymare 1998 at this time is only available physically for the PlayStation 4. It's also available on Xbox and Windows, but it's only digitally. There is no Switch version, though that disappoints me. I think this game would make a very good Switch port, and it would be a very good survival horror game for the Switch. Now, on to Daymare. Before I start talking about the game, I want to bring out something on the table to bring more information about the game. Now, when you play Daymare, it's going to be completely noticeable that this game feels and just has certain aspects about it that just feels like Resident Evil 2. And that's because it is. Daymare was originally supposed to be a fan remake of Resident Evil 2, but that's when Capcom asked them to stop because they were making an actual official Resident Evil 2 remake. They stopped, of course, out of respect, as well as then that made them convert to making a new IP called Daymare 1998. In my personal opinion, I think it worked out better for them this way. This way they had their own intellectual property and they can make money off of this game. Now, in my personal opinion, I thoroughly enjoyed Daymare. It's a homage to the 90s style-esque games of survival horror, also with some aspects of Easter eggs and horror movies back in the 90s. The game plays like the original Resident Evil 2 kind of S style, where you play multiple characters, 3 characters throughout the playthrough of it. You don't get to pick them though, but they're just throughout the story. It has item management system, puzzles, you progress through the story. It's just now an over-the-shoulder aspect. It's just your straight up hardcore original Resident Evil play, just now with a new twist and new kind of story and characters. Now, again, it strongly resembles Resident Evil 2. There's an evil corporation is making bioweapons and so forth. An outbreak happens in a quiet little town, and of course, another outbreak, and you gotta try to survive and escape. Straightforward in here and there. Now, as well as I need to say that Daymare was developed by a very small team with the Unreal Engine, and my personal opinion, I think they did a very good job for such a small team. The game is gorgeous looking at moments, but other than like facial animations and character interactions and so forth, mostly the cutscenes, but mostly the game and the environments and so forth was very well done and very immersive. Music was very good too. Other times, though, it seemed a little odd in its pacing and its music, and it cut out a couple times on me as it was playing. I'm assuming probably for a bug or a glitch. But the overall experience was just, I could not put this game down. I had so much fun with it. It's everything I love about survival horror games and these kind of styles with item management, puzzle solving, as well as trying to survive zombies breaking out and monsters and so forth. Extremely good game. I can't highly recommend it any more than I already have. But the game does have 2 glaring flaws, other than, like I said, about being a little rough, little bugs here and there, and so forth. And then you could experience all the game-breaking bugs that I didn't experience in your playthrough. I just didn't experience. I did. But the 2 main things I could say that's the biggest flaws with the game is that the boss battles are not very good. They're not necessarily like bad in terms they're just unbearably like unfun or anything like that. They're just not very interesting and just feel very shallow compared to what everything else the game brings to the table. The boss battles felt like they didn't need to be there. I think they could have just kept the normal pace of the game with zombies and a couple more the alteration zombies out there, and just throw a few more at you instead of making an arbitrary boss system. I know it's a game supposed to represent 90s games, but I think it hurt the game personally more than having those not very good boss battles. But that's just more of a nitpick. It doesn't really ruin the game. The one thing I do say that it's a gaming sin that they did, and for this game that they were trying to put off as a 90s game, is that they have a document you can find in this game, and you can't read these documents. They will give you a little code when you find the documents, and you have to go to a website online, and that website will have that document, and you type in that code, and then you can read that document. So this is why I call it a gaming sin, is that it takes you out of the game and you have to access a website. And it's not very good. A lot of these documents, of course, none of them are necessary to read, but a lot of them could have just been in the game. You shouldn't have to been pulled out of the game to go to a site to read it. It just felt very shoehorned in there and was unnecessary. I gotta get on them a little bit about that. What's disappointing is that when, if let's say the company goes out of business or they can't keep paying for the server run for that site, those documents won't be able to be read again. So again, that's the biggest gripe I have with the game. But everything else, they did very well done. Like I said, it really impressed me a lot. I know that it's very, how do you say, cringy at moments. The voice acting's not the best, and just certain aspects of the game feel very low budget. That's because, well, it is. And a lot of people say it's a Resident Evil 2 ripoff. Well, like I said, it was meant to be Resident Evil 2. It's just, as I said, they had to stop, and they probably just reused a lot of the assets to make this game instead of have to start all over again, which makes sense. AAA game companies do that, movie studios do that, lots of people reuse assets like that. But overall, what they did for such a small team, bravo. I had to say, I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm quite eager to see the sequel to this game. If I had to say, Daymare 1998 is what Resident Evil 3 should have been, the remake anyway. It has the hospital, you have the town city you're running through, you have laboratory you're going through as well, and it's everything you expected Resident Evil 3 remake to be, but instead of being a narrowed down 4-hour long game, took me about 12 hours my first time through on the highest difficulty, which again is not that bad, and I do play slower than a lot of other people with the game. So again, I know a lot of people are going to look at this and think it's very low budget. It feels like a PlayStation 3 game with some kind of PS2, like late in PS2 like animations and so forth. But again, like I said, small team and everything like that, and what they did was very well done in my personal opinion. I know I keep saying that, but just because I don't know, it makes me sad that I see a lot of people going to probably brush this to a side because it isn't high-end looking and it's not a well-known name and so forth. I highly recommend not to overlook it. I do hope that maybe down the road we'll get like a Game of the Year edition, or Game of the Year. It's not going to get that, but like a complete edition or ultimate edition and so forth that has like the 4GB update and whatever other stuff they might add to the game. I don't know if there's any DLC planned or anything like that. I'm hoping that we'll maybe get another re-release of this physical copy, and I definitely will be looking into the next game down the line. It definitely was very well done, and even when I was recording this video, I was automatically getting right back into it and was going to probably play the game all over again. That's how much fun I had with the game. So, like, in my personal opinion, don't overlook it. It's not even a full price game, and I think it's one that's going to be worthy to be on your shelf as one of those hidden little survival horror games that people are probably going to overlook on your PlayStation 4 collection. So, like always, I will leave links down in the description if you're interested copy, and I'll see you guys in my next unboxing video. Bye-bye!
All that matters on the chessboard are good moves and the actions you take to achieve this result. What I do is bide in the shadows, where I can strategically exploit the most vulnerable pawns. But this time had to be different. This time, I had to involve my hand directly. But let's get things in the right order. So I began the first phase of my plan.